Weelum Findlay and his brother Peter was I kent in Cullen as Weelum Rambler and Peter Rambler, after the Rambler Rose, the steam drifter they had afore the Second World War. She never came back to Cullen after the war, but was sailed to Norway. In 1983, according to the Fishing News, she was aye gone strong over there. After the war, the breeders got another Rambler Rose bigot by Irvins of Peterhead, and they worked at a war with Weelum as skipper and Pat the mate, afore Weelum retired and the boat was sailed. Weelum and Pat came from a family of four made up of 3 loons and a quine. The third loon was John, for he was the driver till he died in the mid-50s. These are the words of Weelum. I started in the sea in 1917. It was aye in my mind to gang to sea, but afore I left school, my father went to Portsoy and fixed me up as an apprentice with MacDonald the engineers. The day I was due to start with them, I got out to catch the train to Portsoy, but when the train gone to Buckie came, and afore it, I jumped on 't, and when I got there, I got down to my auntie's man and sought a berth in the Loyal. I was in the Loyal for 2 years. I came out to her the year afore she was lost. Her crew was fine men, the best I ever went to sea with. They were all sloughy men, and I was the only stranger aboard. I was cook, but I made a bit of a mess of it, although I was on her for 2 years. It was 1919 I moved on to the Valkyrie, a drifter for the next day. My father had just bought the drifter, the Docile, but she was aye on war service. Although the war finished in 1918, she wasn't off the service till about February 1920. I was aboard in the Valkyrie in the month of February 1920 when the Loyal was lost. When I heard of the loss of the Loyal, and all the men I kent in her, I felt gey sad. On my trip with the Valkyrie we get as far as Ireland. Never gone there since. We was at Buncrana for a start, went round to Killybegs Way and then to Burtonport. I was just on the Valkyrie for the winter, and the skipper was James the Famous for Portnokie. Then I joined my father in the Docile in the summer. I wasn't a skipper then, my father was, and he paid me 6pence, even though I was handling nets. My father was skipper for a year, but he didn't like the skippering, so I started taking her in 1921. I was 18 then. I had it in 1936, when she got a war for scrap. I bought the Rambler Rose then. She had an SN North Shield registration, and she ain't belonged to Irvins. They used to have a lot of drifters, but she was the only steel boat they had. Built in Middlesbrough in 1910, I bought her for Henry Milne Fight Hills. Some of his folk, Bertie and the lads, had been Rose afore that. After war service we took the Rambler Rose back to Buckie, but never fished her again. In April she left Buckie town the Provost for Portnokie, for his boiler was broken down, all the way to Stavanger, for they was base sailed. As I said 2 or 3 years ago, I saw in the Fishing News that the Rambler Rose was aye gone about. We got the motorboat Rambler from the first time went to war. That was just after the war, and she came up to Buckie for the south. In October we were ready to take her south again to Lowestoft for our first fishing. On the way we caught in by Cullen to pick up Brucey Lawrence. He married his quine when he was in Lowestoft. We worked at the here until 1956. That was when John died. I liked it here in fishing, but things was changing. And this time we went out to sea net. Nae prawns, I never fished for prawns, just trawling. When we sailed the Rambler, the new owners went for prawns. I retired in 1968 and had been at sea for 51 years. I had the drifter Rambler in service during the war. We took the crews of the convoy merchant ships ashore and back aboard at Methil, as well as the officers and crews of the escort vessels. Oh, aye, along with a couple in the bow wave, we did torpedo recovery, but that was off Einster. The first time I was taken to sea, I was not a year old, but I can't mind that.